two big done deals to delve into on the show today. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace. Significant deals as well. One which I think is going to have a massive impact upon the top four race and maybe even the title race as well. We're also going to look at the situation with Caicedo. £90 million is the reported fee to tempt Brighton into changing their public stance of him not being for sale as Arsenal sit down and negotiate more with Brighton. And we're also taking a look at Tottenham. Will they land the deal for Pedro Porro, which was reported as all but done yesterday, with some new reports today suggesting that it could be off? Hit the like and the share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace. Make sure you're following us on our TikTok by scanning that QR code now. Let's do this. Chelsea come to a full agreement with Olympique Lyon for the signing of Malo Gusto, a very talented young right back currently undergoing his medical right now. He will sign for Chelsea Football Club and then go back on loan to Lyon for the rest of the season. Now, this is a slight disappointment to Chelsea, although Reece James is almost back. They want that backup. They want that challenge now. But to get the deal done, for the price they got the player at, and to, of course, exclude anybody else coming in for this very talented right back, Chelsea had to get this deal done, dusted, and over the line quickly. But it is secured. It is a completed deal. There will be no hijack. He will be a Chelsea player 100%. And that takes the signings in this month up to 7 for Todd Boehly, Graham Potter, and, of course, Chelsea Football Club. And this is a very clever piece of business because Reece James is one of the best right backs in the world. But the injury record is a concern. So not only a young, youthful player that can step into the fray. Remember, it's been over the last couple of years, it's been people like Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek, and of course, the pensioner now, a legend, but a pensioner in Aspie, covering for Reece James when he's been out injured. So this is a very sensible piece of business for Chelsea, no doubt. You've also another done deal today, and you here see the picture of Anthony Gordon at St. James's Park, filming and getting all the photos done for his reveal. He will become a Newcastle player. He has left Everton. It is done. It is dusted. Paperwork has been signed. Medical is complete. And the announcement is a formality. Two big, significant deals. We mentioned Chelsea's already. Now, this one for Newcastle. Newcastle are a top four contender without a doubt. They've gone a little bit dry in the last few games, a number of matches where they haven't scored. Anthony Gordon through the door. There are reports that maybe James Maddison will be visited. They add those two players, and I think that's enough for Newcastle. That's enough for Newcastle to finish in the top four. And on top of that, not just the top four, but you also have the element of what will they do in terms of the title race? They've got to play Arsenal again. They've got to play City again. And it's going to be very significant, in my opinion, with the quality they've got, the ability they have. They're going to have a huge say in this top four race. But I think they've now maybe adding enough quality to have a bit of a say in this title race as well. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on those two big done deals. Up next, Caicedo update. Now, the report has come out today, and we're going to go to what Ben Jacob has had to say first on all of this. Ben Jacobs shared that Caicedo will not return to Brighton after the transfer window closes. Will not return to Brighton until after the transfer window closes. The club's stance on the sale remains unchanged. He goes on to say that he understands that Brighton have also made it clear to Arsenal directly that Moises Caicedo is not for sale this window. Now, of course, we trust Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs is telling us the truth. This is what Brighton have told him. There's no lie from Ben Jacobs. The question is, do you think Brighton are telling the full truth? Do you think Brighton could be tempted into selling the player? That's the question. Tell me what you think. Describe to me how you think this is going to go. You, the football terrace community, know what's going on. You're diehard football fans, probably the most knowledgeable community out there. You've got Miguel Delaney here claiming that Arsenal and Chelsea need to go to 90 million to sign Caicedo from Brighton, with the player's rebellious actions leaving the club stance unchanged. And you've got to remember that the club's stance being unchanged after the statement last night from Moises Caicedo is normal. They're not going to come out and state that he's for sale. They're not going to come out and say this publicly. They want as much money as possible. They're very willing to wait until the summer to sell the player. But they're not just going to say, right, that's it. You can have him for 60 million. In fact, we're going to unreject the bid. You can have him. It's never going to happen. They want to create a bidding war. It's already started. A 55 million pound bid came in. Now a 60 million pound bid came in. All it takes is one more bid, either from Arsenal or Chelsea, of higher than 60 million, which has been reported as possible. That's a bidding war. When two teams start to outbid each other, it's exactly what it is. I understand Brighton's stance, but my take on this is simple. Chelsea and Arsenal both have an equal opportunity of getting this player. And I said in my video this morning, I'm not differentiating between the two. We don't know where. There's talk that he's agreed terms with Arsenal. There's talk that he is very happy to join Chelsea. And my belief is he will go to whichever one gets the deal done. He wants to move to a top six club. He wants to move and earn an exceedingly higher amount of money with the opportunity of winning trophies now and in the medium to long term. It's all about Brighton's stance. And I get publicly they'll say not for sale, not for sale, not for sale. But the situation feels almost untenable with the loudness and the public transfer request. The fans are angry. I mean, the Brighton fans are unrelenting, and it's almost strange. The outrage is all at Arsenal and Chelsea for bidding for their player, and not at either the player himself or the club for kind of allowing this to happen. They're angry at clubs wanting to buy your quality player. I don't really understand why you're angry at Arsenal or Chelsea for wanting to buy your player. Yes, you're saying they're not for sale, but that's essentially the stance has for every player. Man United are actually going to actively in the summer look to sell Maguire and look to sell Scott McTominay, but they will publicly state that they're not for sale because you want to drive the price up. It's just normal. But Miguel Delaney's right, in my opinion. A big enough bid gets this done. I don't even think it's going to be as high as 90 million as a set fee. I think 75 to 80 million set, guaranteed, with add-ons is going to get this done. The question is, will Chelsea or Arsenal pay that much money? If this deal doesn't go through, it isn't because Brighton refused to sell, period. It's that Brighton refused to sell at X price. And Arsenal and Chelsea were not willing to go that far above the valuation. But if Arsenal and Chelsea want him and are prepared to pay the asking price, he is most certainly, in my opinion, for sale. Now, moving across to another part of North London, what's going on with the situation with Pedro Porro? We saw that essentially Fabrizio Romano said it was a matter of time that this deal was going to happen. You then see a report here from David Ornstein, who says that Sporting Lisbon are exploring signing Hector Bellerin if Pedro Porro leaves. No breakthrough in the Porro to Tottenham talks, and Brighton are refusing to let Tarek Lamptey exit. Bellerin is keen on Sporting Lisbon, but no contact between the clubs as of yet. And of course, we shared this news. There's been no breakthrough. This has put a lot of Tottenham fans into panic. Some are quite relaxed. It depends on which journalist you trust. The fact is, David Ornstein is right. There's been no breakthrough into the deal being done and moving towards deal being complete. The deal being done is more of a verbal agreement, and the yes, we've agreed we're going to do X. That's transfer linguistics anyway. The deal complete comes after that with medicals, paperwork being signed, etc. We all know this. You know this. The world knows this. I'm unsure why a few individuals are still confused by it. There you go. But there is a little bit of, I wouldn't call it scaremongering, but worry. Interestingly, at the same time, the Standard have reported that Pedro Porro wants to play one last match for Sporting this evening before joining. I don't know about the first bit, but I still think he's going to join. I'm being really fair here to Tottenham. I can't imagine Spurs allowing this deal to fall through. If this deal falls through, there will be carnage at White Hart Lane. There will be panic at White Hart Lane. There will be fury at White Hart Lane if this deal collapses. Fabrizio Romano said by the end of the weekend it would be done. We'll see whether he plays tonight. We'll see whether he starts. We see whether he's on the bench maybe and gets a little 10-minute cameo and gets to wave goodbye to the fans. Maybe that's what he's going to do. I don't quite know. But I've seen a lot of Spurs fans panicking. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I personally still think that it's going to go through. But it is being reported that the deal could break down and fall off. And what I would say is I wouldn't completely disregard that, but I would also remain relaxed because the fact that Sporting are looking at replacements could also be the key here. They want to find a replacement before they done deal and sanction the move. That's also a stumbling block of leaving your business so late is that the club you're trying to buy from get to a situation where if they can't find a replacement, that could scarper things once more. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of days in that deal as well. I mean, by the time you watch this video, they could have announced the agreement because, of course, none of us content creators and definitely none of the journalists are in the rooms talking about these deals. But that is the latest as it stands right now. I want everybody's thoughts, I want everybody's feelings on the transfers that we have discussed and the impact that you think they're going to have upon their teams. As I've already said, make sure you're following my TikTok by scanning that QR code or clicking on the link in the description below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.